On a quiet afternoon in the English town of Hyde, patients came and went from a trusted family doctor's surgery as they had for years. Elderly men and women arrived seeking help for arthritis, heart disease, or the ordinary illnesses that come with age. They entered believing they were in the safest hands possible. For many of them, it would be their final appointment. For decades, no one suspected that behind the calm voice, reassuring smile, and respected reputation was one of the most prolific serial killers in modern history. His victims were not strangers. They were his own patients, people who trusted him completely. When the truth finally emerged, it shook the United Kingdom, transformed the medical profession, and forced an entire nation to ask how one doctor had managed to kill for so many years without being stopped. This is the story of Harold Shipman. Harold Frederick Shipman was born on January 14, 1946, in Nottingham, England. He was the middle child in a working-class family and grew up in a modest neighborhood during the years following the Second World War. By most accounts, Shipman was an intelligent and disciplined student. He excelled academically and was especially close to his mother, Vera Shipman. Their relationship would later become a subject of intense scrutiny because of the profound effect it appeared to have on his life. In the early 1960s, Vera developed terminal lung cancer. As her illness progressed, a physician regularly visited the family home to ease her pain using injections of morphine. Harold watched these treatments closely. He also witnessed the gradual decline of the person he admired most. When Vera died in 1963, Harold was just 17 years old. Many investigators and psychologists would later wonder whether those experiences influenced his fascination with medicine and injectable drugs. No direct evidence ever established such a connection, but the timing remained a recurring topic throughout later investigations. Determined to become a doctor, Shipman attended the Leeds School of Medicine. He graduated in 1970 and began working as a junior physician before joining a medical practice in Todmorden, West Yorkshire. He married Primrose Mayox Toby, known as Primrose, and together they built what appeared to be a stable family life. They eventually had 4 children. To colleagues and neighbors, Harold Shipman seemed quiet, intelligent, and hardworking. He rarely attracted attention. He appeared to be exactly the kind of family doctor people hoped to find. But beneath that respectable image, serious problems soon emerged. In 1975, Shipman was discovered to be abusing pethidine, a powerful opioid painkiller that he had obtained by forging prescriptions intended for patients. He was prosecuted, fined, and briefly received treatment for drug dependency. Despite this criminal conviction, he was allowed to continue practicing medicine after rehabilitation. The decision would later become one of the most criticized moments in British medical regulation. After recovering, Shipman resumed his medical career. Over time, his earlier conviction faded into the background. He eventually established his own general practice in Hyde, Greater Manchester, where he became one of the community's most trusted physicians. Patients appreciated his confidence. Families respected his professionalism. Many elderly residents specifically requested appointments with him. He often made house calls, a common practice for general practitioners caring for older patients. These home visits gave him something few murderers ever possess: privacy. Many of Shipman's patients lived alone. When they became ill, he frequently visited without witnesses present. According to investigators, this isolation became a critical part of his crimes. Authorities believe Shipman typically administered lethal doses of diamorphine, the medical form of heroin commonly used in Britain for severe pain management. The injections often caused death to appear natural, particularly among elderly patients with existing medical conditions. Afterward, Shipman would certify the deaths himself. As the attending physician, his conclusions were rarely questioned. Funeral arrangements proceeded, families mourned, medical records appeared complete, life continued. Year after year, the deaths accumulated. Most victims were elderly women, although several men also died. Many appeared healthy shortly before their sudden deaths. Some families privately wondered how active relatives could decline so quickly. Yet each individual death seemed explainable. Viewed separately, there was little reason for alarm. Viewed together, a disturbing pattern slowly emerged. By the mid-1990s, local funeral director Deborah Massey noticed something unusual. An unexpectedly high number of death certificates were being signed by the same doctor. Several undertakers also commented that many of Shipman's patients were found sitting upright or fully clothed when they died, an observation that seemed inconsistent with many expected natural deaths. Meanwhile, local general practitioner Dr. Linda Reynolds also became concerned by the unusually high mortality rate among Shipman's patients. She raised questions with the local coroner. At first, the concerns failed to produce decisive action. Statistical information alone did not appear sufficient to justify a criminal investigation. Shipman continued practicing medicine. The killings continued. Everything changed in 1998. An 81-year-old former mayor of Hyde named Kathleen Grundy was found dead at home. Like many of Shipman's previous patients, her death initially appeared to be from natural causes. Shipman himself certified the death. Nothing seemed unusual. Then an unexpected discovery changed everything. A will surfaced. According to the document, Kathleen had supposedly left almost her entire estate, worth approximately £386,000, to Harold Shipman. Her daughter, solicitor Angela Woodruff, immediately became suspicious. The document did not resemble her mother's writing style or wishes. Instead of accepting the will, she contacted police. Detectives began examining the document. Handwriting experts concluded that the signature had almost certainly been forged. Investigators also ordered Kathleen Grundy's body to be exhumed. Forensic examinations revealed dangerously high concentrations of diamorphine. The evidence contradicted Shipman's account of her death. Police searched Shipman's surgery. They discovered altered medical records. Computer entries appeared to have been modified after patients had died. Investigators believed these changes were intended to support false medical explanations for otherwise suspicious deaths. Shipman denied every allegation. He insisted he was innocent. But the evidence continued growing. As investigators examined additional patient deaths, striking similarities appeared. Many victims had died unexpectedly while alone with Shipman. Many had received injections shortly before death. Many deaths had been certified by Shipman himself. Medical experts reviewed years of patient records. Police interviewed grieving relatives. Patterns became increasingly difficult to ignore. Harold Shipman was arrested and charged. His trial began at Preston Crown Court in October 1999. Prosecutors focused on 15 carefully selected murders supported by the strongest available evidence. Although investigators suspected many more victims, proving each death beyond reasonable doubt decades later presented enormous challenges. The prosecution demonstrated how Shipman manipulated medical records, forged Kathleen Grundy's will, and used his trusted position to conceal repeated murders. Expert witnesses explained the forensic evidence. Computer specialists described altered patient records. Family members recounted the sudden deaths of loved ones. The defense argued that the evidence was circumstantial and challenged aspects of the forensic interpretation. Shipman himself chose not to testify. After months of testimony, the jury reached its decision. On January 31, 2000, Harold Shipman was found guilty of 15 counts of murder and 1 count of forgery. He received 15 life sentences. The trial ended. The investigation did not. Public concern quickly expanded beyond the convictions. If Shipman had murdered 15 patients, how many more had never been identified? The British government established the Shipman Inquiry under High Court Judge Dame Janet Smith. Over several years, the inquiry examined thousands of deaths, medical records, prescription histories, and witness statements. Its findings were staggering. Judge Smith concluded that Harold Shipman had murdered at least 215 patients between 1975 and 1998. The inquiry also suggested the true number may have exceeded 250 victims. If correct, Shipman would rank among the deadliest known serial killers in recorded history. Most of his victims were elderly women. The youngest confirmed victim was 41 years old. The oldest was 93. The inquiry concluded that his crimes continued for more than 2 decades while numerous institutional safeguards failed. Medical oversight proved inadequate. Death certification procedures lacked sufficient independent review. Controlled drug monitoring contained significant weaknesses. Professional trust often replaced meaningful scrutiny. The inquiry produced dozens of recommendations aimed at preventing similar crimes. Major reforms followed. The United Kingdom strengthened procedures governing controlled drugs. Death certification systems were reviewed and modernized. Monitoring of general practitioners increased. Regulatory oversight within healthcare became more rigorous. The changes became known collectively as part of the Shipman effect, fundamentally reshaping patient safety across Britain. Harold Shipman never admitted responsibility. He consistently maintained his innocence throughout his imprisonment. On January 13, 2004, one day before his 58th birthday, prison officers found Shipman dead in his cell at HM Prison Wakefield. An investigation concluded that he had died by suicide through hanging. His death ensured that many questions would never receive direct answers. No confession ever came, no explanation was ever offered. Families were left to construct their own understanding from the evidence gathered by investigators. For the relatives of his victims, the passage of time has not erased the betrayal. Their parents, grandparents, spouses, friends, and neighbors sought medical care from someone they believed existed to preserve life. Instead, many encountered a doctor who exploited absolute trust for reasons that remain only partially understood. The Harold Shipman case permanently changed British medicine. It demonstrated that professional reputation alone can never replace accountability. It showed how statistical warning signs, when ignored, may conceal unimaginable crimes. And it reminded healthcare systems around the world that safeguarding patients requires not only compassion and expertise, but constant vigilance. More than 2 decades after his conviction, Harold Shipman's name remains synonymous with one of the greatest breaches of trust in medical history. His legacy is not measured by the lives he claimed. It is measured by the reforms that followed, the families forever changed, and the enduring lesson that even the most trusted professions must never be beyond scrutiny. Kindly turn your click to kindness by subscribing, like, and comment. Thank you for watching. If you found this documentary informative, consider subscribing for more carefully researched true crime stories based on verified facts, court records, and official investigations. Until next time, stay informed, stay vigilant, and remember that the most unsettling mysteries are often the ones hidden in plain sight.